Well, to delve more into what has been said at Jackson Hole, we have with us Nicholas Economides. He is a professor of economics at the Leonard and Stern School of Business at New York University. Nicholas, thanks again. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Let's dissect the remarks from the FOMC chief. He was blunt, and we don't often hear that from these officials, saying the time is here.
Well, it's disappointing to see Chairman Powell keep postponing his decision. Even though he says the time is here, he hasn't done it. So one never knows about the delays that we're facing. It's clear that the financial markets have expected Powell to have reduced interest rates some time ago.
Right.
And as he keeps postponing it, it puts in more and more pressure that now we're going to be talking about a 0.5% change instead of a 0.25% change. So it's disappointing to see a Fed that is running after the events rather than being in front of them.
You know, it's interesting if indeed we do get the 50 basis point cut that a lot of people are expecting as early as September. But and there are those who said that the Fed did wait too long to make this move. Let's talk about some of the issues going on right now. Commercial real estate is suffering. Home sales continue to slump. The jobless figures continue to tick up. Are you worried that we could be facing some more very severe economic conditions in the future?
Well, it's worrisome because we get into an equilibrium which is not the best. The federal government overspends. There's a tremendous amount of extra deficit that's being created, and we see the candidates, especially candidate Harris, saying, I want to spend much more. That's a problem. And at the same time, we have the Fed that is not reacting quickly and is waiting for things. So there is always going to be some imbalance between the actions, and there's some delays, and which is suboptimal. How can I put it? It's inefficient.
That's probably not a bad word if you listen to a lot of the economists who are out there. But let's talk more about the upcoming effect on the presidential race. Democrats have been making it clear for a long time they want to keep a hands-off approach when it comes to the Federal Reserve. And while he has backed off his statement somewhat recently, Donald Trump has said time and again that he wants to get more involved and push the Fed to make decisions, saying he would have pushed him to make cuts a long time ago. Is this wise? Tell us about the concerns when the commander-in-chief gets involved in something like this.
Well, I'm afraid that no matter what the campaigns say, both campaigns would like to control the Fed, would like to be able to have a cut whenever it's politically expedient and not have a cut when it's politically expedient for them. So that's unfortunately the way we are. But at the same time, hopefully over time, the strength of the institution will increase, especially if it does the right thing at the right time. So I think that the best advice I would give to the Fed is to, in fact, be careful about timing, and that will increase its prestige.
Let's talk about what could happen in September. If indeed there's an economic boom, that clearly is going to help Kamala Harris as she moves toward November. But let's talk about the bigger picture, the outlook on interest rates, the U.S. economy, and anyone looking for an immediate drop in interest rates to buy a new home, they're going to be disappointed. It's going to take a lot of time for mortgage rates to come down. What do you think the implications are for the housing sector?
I think mortgage rates will come down, and it's probably the indicator that will come down faster than anything else in the economy. First of all, even if inflation is low, it doesn't mean that prices are going lower. It just means that they're not increasing as fast. Okay, that's the first problem. So people are still disappointed that prices are, for example, prices of food are 50% higher than 4 years ago. People are disappointed in that. And no matter what I tell them and you tell them, or Jay Powell tells them, it doesn't matter for them. They already are disappointed on that. Now, what's going to happen in the future for mortgages? They're going to come down. What's going to happen in the future for retail prices? They're not going to increase so much. It helps a bit the incumbent, Kamala Harris, but it doesn't help a lot. I think these are I think that as we get closer and closer to the elections, I think more and more people are making up their minds on what to vote, and then the people who are still undecided is a number that is smaller and smaller. And I don't think that most of these people are going to decide based on new economic news. So if they're not happy with inflation, they're going not to vote. So they're not going to be so happy with Harris. If they are, if the problem is more the issues of the border, they might go towards Trump, and so on and so on. There are various issues,
Right.
and as you know, also the third candidate, Mr. Kennedy, dropped out today and endorsed Trump. So we don't know yet to what extent this will have repercussions.
Yeah, even 3-4% could make a huge difference. Now, let's talk about the fact that the U.S., of course, is the largest economy in the world, and a good, healthy U.S. economy is good for the global economy. So what's your key takeaway for global economies and the central bank governors?
I have the feeling that people have exaggerated worries about the U.S. economy. I think that no matter who gets elected, the U.S. economy is going to do okay. It's not going to be killed by high tariffs. It's dangerous to run such high deficits, but hopefully the financial markets will push in the direction of lower deficits. So generally speaking, I am optimistic about the U.S. Market.
Right.
At the same time, it will be important to have a new president that will eliminate the wars that we have presently in the Middle East, in Ukraine, in Yemen, and so on. So things, the world would benefit from additional stability. And I think that that's probably the most important thing that a new president can provide.